Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Esper Tempo. We are a great shell with Psychic Frog, Orcish Bowmasters, Tamiyo, and Murktide as our threat suite. We also have a Brazen Borrower, which is both interaction and a late game threat. In terms of disruption, we are a combo killing machine. We've got 3 Thoughtseizes. We've got 4 Daze, 4 Force, and of course, 4 Wasteland. Our goal is to just slow our opponent down, stabilize the game, kill him with Murktide, maybe Ultimate Tamiyo, or just get a Bowmasters in play and make it miserable for them to be able to do whatever degenerate things they're trying to do with like the One Ring or anything like that. We have a great removal suite in 4 Plows, 2 Prismatic Endings, and we've got all the cantrips. The mana base is basically the same I've been playing, except I've added a second Surveil Land. We will see how clunky this is during gameplay, but there have been a lot of situations where I've wanted to be able to go get a second Surveil trigger mid-game, and I'm excited to see how this comes out. Also, it's worth noting that a lot of times I don't do anything turn 1 anyway. Like I'll just put a fetch land into play. So it is nice to potentially be able to do that 2 turns in a row if my opponent's not giving me anything good to do, or if I suspect that they have removal, or if I suspect that they are just kind of slow rolling their own threats. Because a lot of times you get into like a control mirror and your opponent's just like lane go, and then they're building up their interaction so that they can protect their Psychic Frog, right? The sideboard strategy is very simple. 3 Grafdigger's Cages plus a Surgical. This is really strong against Blue-Black Reanimator, which is still the most widely represented deck, well-represented deck in the format with 20% of the format, and Grafdigger's Cage just answers any cards coming in from graveyard. It also is very good against Nadu decks. A lot of Nadu decks are playing Green Sun Zenith. There are some green versions of Nadu that are playing like 4 Green Sun Zenith, 4 Chord of Calling, and 3 Natural Order. And that's 11 cards that this 1 mana artifact is answering. It's also good against Karnforge, because Karnforge, the Mystic Forge card, the namesake of the deck, is casting cards from the top of your library. So it's a pretty versatile tool against 3 of the top decks in the format. We also have a basic Plains in case we go up against Moonstompy, and we have 2 Prismatic Endings, so we can reliably fetch early on and potentially remove Magus of the Moon or Blood Moon and still be able to play, even though we're a 3-color deck. And we've also got 2 more Prismatic Endings. These are good against pretty much every permanent-based deck. They kill creatures, they kill flipped Tamiyo. They do a lot of things. If we get queued into Eldrazi or Karnforge, we have 4 Consign to Memory. I've come to the conclusion that the 4th Consign is better than playing Lavinia. And, of course, we have our 4th Bowmaster in the sideboard in case we need it. That's the deck. That's the sideboard. Let's play some matches. As always, I encourage you to leave a comment or feedback with a timestamp on any plays that I make that you think are suspicious in terms of like not an optimal play. Or if you just have general feedback on my playstyle and you're like, I've noticed you've been way too passive, or you haven't put enough faith in Psychic Frog, or any feedback you may have, super helpful for me, super helpful for everybody in the comments. I will never shoot the messenger. I love to read feedback, and I will respond to literally every comment you leave. If you want, you can test that theory. All right. See you in round 1. All right. My opponent is likely on Dimir Reanimator as of basically yesterday. So we're going to assume that they're on this, and we're going to play accordingly. We are on the play. This is a pretty good hand against them. I like the Thoughtseize to potentially take away their reanimation effect. And then, so I'm going to fetch Underground Sea, and then I'm going to fetch Tundra to run out my suite. And we're going to have Daze up. This hopefully will go well. It might not. I do think we get the reanimation effect here for starters, because that is good. In Tomb, they have to find a second reanimation effect. We'll see what's in their hand. Okay, so they are actually on Eldrazi. Gosh. So we take Once Upon a Time. That just cleanly answers that. They do have Wasteland. So Oh man, this is rough. Sowing Mycospawn, we can actually daze back the card they target when they cast it, but it is problematic to say the least. I think they're likely just going to open Wasteland here. I do like taking Kozilek's Command. I mean, it is an extremely powerful card. However, I don't think we have the luxury of taking it. I'm worried that they're going to find like more immediate action off Once Upon a Time or find like a second Wasteland. I think we just take the free spell. Yeah. I'm not sure. Leave a comment if you think that's correct. With the timestamp, please. That was hard. I know these Kozilek's commands are going to be a pain later. So, 8th that heralds the end. I think we just plow this. I'm not happy about it. Another Thoughtseize. So we could plow and Thoughtseize again. I think that's fine. This does give them a second Wasteland target. They're going to have to choose which color they want to cut us off. Let's go ahead and look at their hand. Oh, well, that's what they drew for the turn, so we know what their hand is. I think Sowing Mycospawn is probably the take here. Kozilek's Command is not as scary. It's kind of like a later problem. Also, they don't know we have Daze, so we kind of like answer one of them. And if they're wasting us, then they're not doing other stuff that's scary. Guy's Cradle is terrible here. I'm just going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Because their hand is Guy's Cradle, 2 Kozilek's Command, and they have a Wasteland. I accidentally closed the Wasteland. So next turn, I'm just going to be cantripping, trying to find a Murktide. Murktide is really good against them. Probably trying to find a second land as well. If they Kozilek's Command, I will snap Daze it. Okay, especially if they use a Lotus Petal in the process. That sucks. Okay, they're not doing anything else. So their hand is Guy's Cradle, double Kozilek's Command. I'm happy to see that Petal. Wasteland of our own. Actually, we can really screw them here. I think I'm going to go ahead and start by pondering, and then I think I am going to waste them. This might be a mistake, but they are struggling with mana. I don't think these are good enough. Actually, I do want that land. Taking a second Daze might actually be okay in this circumstance. I don't think we want the ending. It's just not that great in this matchup. I'll take the Daze. And I'm just going to waste and hope that they don't draw a land and we get a couple turns. Do stuff. If they want to K-Command here, I'll Daze it. This will keep them off land. We're not doing anything, but they're not doing anything. This is a 2-for-1. It feels pretty good to have the Eldrazi player down to 2 cards, one of which is like completely dead. They will likely draw a land. We're going to fetch Surveil. And we're going to try to find another Wasteland probably for their subsequent land. Yeah, I'm just going to wait till end step to do this. Just in case I need to fetch something else and Daze them. They're likely to draw land here. They do. They do find land. Okay. So let's go ahead and get the white source here that we added. The first appearance of Meticulous Archive in this deck. Tamiyo is not bad at all. Actually, I think she might... Well, they can K-Command. I'm going to see if I can get them to K-Command her and then I can flip her. That would be pretty good. Yep. They're going to need another mana to K-Command her. But I will happily trade that. Okay, so they do have the eye. That does reduce the cost of Kozilek's Command. Chalice for 1. They can't K-Command anymore. I could just cast this and see what I draw. This will flip her. Okay, so we don't necessarily need this card. Psychic Frog plus Tamiyo can be pretty powerful here. They don't have a way to get rid of Tamiyo, period. Like, even the Wastegate Battle Mage can't touch Tamiyo. I think I'm going to just put this Psychic Frog back. I'll draw it. I think we let the Chalice resolve. And now we have Daze up for their K-Command. They're not going to suspect a second Daze. All right. So next turn, we are just going to go land plus Tamiyo. Their hand is K-Command. They will, unless they draw a land, they will need to like hold back some mana. They're not going to be able to do a K command that also hits. Okay, and we're waiting for them. If they K command here just to like cantrip, I probably will Daze that. Like, I don't think there's any downside to it. I just don't want them to have any selection, any cards. Okay. And we are basically just going upstairs, and that's our plan. It's a very simple plan. Plus, I'll play the land out. At this point, I am certainly willing to bounce the Meticulous Archive just to get some additional surveil. I could have definitely not played out the land. Maybe that was a mistake. Let's see what they draw for turn. Petal. Now they have the ability to exile Frog around Daze. All right, I was resolving some clash between my kids. Okay, so my opponent does have the ability to just pay for my Daze. They are, they get to surveil and draw. I think we just let this happen because I don't think getting rid of the Petal is worth the Daze. So we're just going to hope to that Tamiyo outraces. So X equals 2. Yeah, I don't think there's any benefit to... we'll use it later. They're passing. So Tamiyo is going to go up again. They could be playing... Oh, that's a really good card. All right, I'm just going to plow. And as soon as they put like a creature on the stack... If they... Okay, so there is a world in which they have like Devourer of Destiny, and we can't stop that. They didn't have it early on. A lot of lists aren't playing it. They're putting 2 in the pool. Okay, they're just passing. Interesting. I think they may have drawn another K command or something. I'm not sure what they would pass to cast later. Okay, they're doing it in our second main for some reason. Okay, they're ending. Great. That's a great pickup. I'm just going to plus and pass. And if they try to do another Kozilek's command, I will just definitely Bowmaster it. It's worth noting that a resolved K command is extra dangerous because, so let's see, what are they? They're choosing the spawn tokens. Scries X, then draws a card. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and just do this now because I don't want them to be able to draw a card. And then what I can do is I'll hit them with the first one, and I'm actually going to try to poke one of their spawn tokens with the second. And at this point, they may be thinking, oh, he doesn't have Daze because he, like, but like they never give me an opportunity to Daze something. But hitting a spawn token, of course, they can just sack it in response, and I don't get the Orc Army, but it does deny them mana. It's basically denying them 2 mana. So they should sack in response, they do. Okay. We're passing. I made a big mistake. I should not have tapped this. That's potentially very consequential. I should not have tapped my Meticulous Archive because I have Plow in my hand. All right, they have a lot of mana. They could definitely Devour Destiny if that's a card that they can find. Otherwise, I think we are going to be able to Tamiyo Ultimate. And if we Tamiyo Ultimate, we are going to be able to win. Dismember. It that heralds the end. That's fine. Spawn token can attack. I'll just block with the Orc Army. They have a lot of mana. Are they going to correct the Petal? They had it. They had it. There's nothing to be done. This game is over. We played very carefully here, but yeah, I will plow that thing. If I had had my white up, I could have potentially plowed that. Did they pass? They never gave me a window. They could have sacked the spawn token. Yeah, this game's over. Like I can't imagine a way we crawl back into this. Even though they're hellbent, like now they had to have that, but now they're going to potentially be able to activate Eye of Ugin. Yeah, very frustrating. I mean, they're giving me the opportunity to double block. I think I take it. I'm not. They've already used 3 of their 4 K commands. I think it's unlikely that they find a 4th one, considering they have 0 selection in their deck. Yeah, and we just straight up kill it. Like, we don't even lose anything because of the Tamiyo Plus. Okay, so we're going to definitely have to get rid of Devour here. Oh, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing. How far are they from being able to I think we have to get rid of this. That is Not up for debate. And I think we probably just hold the other planes. Oh no, I forgot about that. Concede. Shame concession. There's no way we're winning anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I totally forgot about the Chalice, but like a lot of those lines that I was talking about wouldn't have even worked. Okay, let's go to game 2. So we're bringing in, we don't have the Harbinger of the Sea, unfortunately. I think we just bring in the Consigns. If they're playing Chalice, I do think we bring in Prismatic Ending. It does hit, they had 2 low curve things that we could potentially hit with Ending. I think we take out the Dazes even on the play. I just don't think it's good. You saw they were playing around it the entire time. Hopefully they'll play around it game 2 and game 3. The other card we could take out, Brazen Borrower, is not particularly good against them. Like they all their things have triggers. You just want to get rid of stuff. Bowmasters is not good against them. The way we win is we slow them down through Wastelands, Thoughtseize, all those things. And we essentially just, Tamiyo Ultimate is obviously like really slow, and they had plenty of time to assemble what they needed, and our Daze was ineffectual. But now with Consign, maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. I don't think it really will make a difference. I think this is structurally just like a horrible matchup for us. Not as bad as Painter, but pretty bad. This can't be kept. This is totally keepable. This is quite good. We have Murktide as our threat, and we can pitch Consign if we need to. I think I'm just going to open Thoughtseize here, just like we did last time. I will put back... do I want to put back a Plow? Plow's not very good against them because it's not their threats. It's their abilities on those threats. The other option, of course, is I could just keep up Consign. But I don't think they're going to have anything that powerful turn 1 anyway. So I'm going to go get an Underground Sea here. I'm not going to play around... I'm not going to fetch basics like a coward. We're going to Thoughtseize them. And we're just going to try to fill up our graveyard quickly so that we can ultimately... Okay, so Chalice... I think we take Fleshraker and we just ignore Chalice. It's sad, but I think that's correct. Wastecape does answer our Murktide. So we could just ignore Chalice and we could take the... Fleshraker, one of the big problems is we're going to have to kill them very quickly because they're going to very quickly be able to get up to Eye of Ugin mana. They don't... Yeah, it seems counterintuitive to take Wastecape here. Like, who cares? But it is an answer to our Murktide. And they may recognize that. Yeah. Murktide is how we win, though. 100%. So my plan here is to ignore Chalice and stop clearing Fleshraker. So they drew Wasteland for turn. That's unfortunate. Now I think we probably Surveil. So I'm just going to leave Delta up and plan to Surveil. But, that did kind of help fuel the Murktide. This is going to be pointed squarely at I. So if they attempt to skip the Chalice, I'll definitely Consign. If they just Chalice, which I think is what they should do. Interesting. They're not casting anything? Okay, well, I'm going to go get my Surveil land. I'll just get the... Black is the more important color here. And we're trying to find another... I think this goes in the graveyard. We want land. Yeah, and we know that they have likely Chalice coming up. Land, please. Okay, so option 1. We could just waste this and replay the next turn and hope to draw a land. I do want to eventually waste the Eye. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We're going to replay the turn. We know they have plenty of other tombs coming. We also know they have an Eye. They may have just been baiting the... But I don't know why they don't cast Chalice there. I think that's a weird decision. Okay. Can we find a blue source? Yes. All right. Murktide's coming down now. They could definitely have a second Wastecape Battle Mage. They are drawing cards. Blue. So... Yeah, there's nothing we can do to defend this currently. However, if for some reason we get a turn, Consign does do a decent job of killing it. If they Fleshraker, I'll definitely force it. We're going to have to hit them 3 times or 4 times, though. If they tap this, we'll see how many times they tap it. 1. Dismember. Unfortunately, I do have to defend this. This is like our path to victory here. Okay, interesting. Still not playing the card. I do think we want to play a Tamiyo, just like it doesn't really hurt to do so. So we're coming in for a hug. They're at 16. They could definitely draw another Dismember. I don't know why they haven't played the Chalice. That's just stunning to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Are they really that scared? There's so many cards that could just wreck our day that they could play here. Eye of Ugin is like so much inevitability that we are going to have to close pretty quickly here. Okay, so they can drop the Fleshbreaker. Okay, that's damage. That comes up, but again, we're flying over them. This is very hard to kill with Kozilek's Command. Is this what they wanted to do with like Chalice? That does create a spawn token and deal damage to us. What they can do with Eye of Ugin, if they get enough of these constructs, is they can Eye of Ugin and they can get Devourer of Destiny. We know that they have, I believe they have another Ancient Tomb. I think our best draw is actually Wasteland. But if we get a White Source, I'm going to go after Fleshbreaker. I think I'm just going to hold up Bowmasters as a potential surprise. And we do have the option, of course, of creating a... So let's think about this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They need 7 to tap this. So they would have 7, but they wouldn't be able to get it in time because we're going to kill them next turn. If they K-command for some reason, Bowmasters might be able to get there. If they start attacking, I don't think they have any reason to attack, but if they did for some reason, we have to work so hard to win this matchup. Like, it's just crazy. Okay, they're doing 2 damage to themselves. What are they doing? Please draw a card. Please K-command. It is a K-command. So we take 1. K-command's on the stack. Take another one. Now, boom, black. Do you have a second K-command in hand? If you do, you might be able to take out one of these. Yep, and they're going to draw, and that's going to kill them. This all resolves as one thing, so they don't have a window in which to use this. So they are dead. Active player there, triggers go on the stack first, so we win the game before they get all their Fleshbreaker triggers. Not that we would have died there. We had a pretty overwhelming board presence, but still, like, wow. What a freaking deck. My goodness. I'm amazed that this didn't do better at Eternal Weekend, because, like, in my experience, like, it's just, like, so strong against control decks. All right, on the draw, I think we keep everything the way it is. Bowmaster is pretty good there. I think maybe we take out some Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize seems pretty weak against the aggro deck. It is nice to know what's coming, but like 2 damage to yourself, I'd much rather have Bowmasters because Bowmasters can chump. Maybe we even bring in Borrower. Borrower's pretty bad, but like, I don't know. My thinking is Thoughtseize is not good in this matchup. That is my thinking. If you feel that Thoughtseize is good, let me know. I think it's okay. It's like acceptable on the play, but I think it's terrible on the draw. Especially when, Thoughtseize, like the main thing you're worried about them is amassing tons of mana because that's how they win the game. They just like start casting giant Kozilek's commands. The fact that Bowmasters can potentially go wide and, ping them and stuff, like, oh my goodness. There's no way that this is a keep. There's no way that this is keep. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this. I want a force hand. This is a force hand. I said I'd keep a force hand. I'm going to put back the island. Especially with all these lands, like we don't really need the island. I do keep the island in because we want to have 20 lands. All right, 12 minutes on the clock. We have a pretty decent hand against them. It's not great. Okay, Devourer is revealed. So I'm glad we're not Thoughtseizing them here because, like we already kind of know that that's coming. And one of the reasons you Thoughtseize is for information. What did they get? Eye of Ugin is like the number one thing we want to waste here. So they exiled Wasteland, Wastegate Battlemage, Sowing Mycospawn. So there are several ways you could read this. One, that they just have those and it doesn't really matter. The other thing you could read is they're just trying to find more mana. I mean, the fact that they open on Basic Forest does say a lot about what they likely have. I think what we do is we just strand pass and then we have Consign up in case they try to cast Fleshbreaker next turn. They could also have, they are playing Lotus Petal, so they could also have an explosive hand where they have like a Thought-Knot Seer, and I would like to stop that. I'm going to hold the Wasteland for a better target. That's a great pickup. Yeah, if we can just consign everything in the cast, we might be able to work our way through there. We just need to get land out and keep it out. There's no reason to fetch black now, but we could need it later. So, okay. Interesting. So, one option, of course, is just to fetch here. And I mean, they've exiled one of their Wastelands, and now they've got their second. We could get a Surveil here and just hope to get a little closer to our next land. I think that's okay. Especially because, I mean, they have so many lands in their deck. I just feel it's like totally cowardly because we're just going to have to play the Tundra and it's just going to get wasted. The other alternative, of course, is we get Island and then we waste our waste. But I think I do want to do this. And there is a chance that maybe they don't waste it because they really need the mana. That is going in our graveyard. That's Murktide food. Are they going to waste? They're not wasting. Upkeep waste? No waste. Well, I'm just going to pretend that I'm strong and play out a land and act like no big deal. This Wasteland will eventually get fired at us. It's just a question of when. 1, 2, 3. Sowing Mycospawn with kicker? Without kicker? I'll still counter it. Blue. Colorless. Cast with replicate. Boom. Okay, we want to replicate it once. Replicate goes on the trigger. Replicate is going to... So we have to wait for the replicate to resolve. Now we choose the target and we're going to choose the actual trigger. So I believe we've successfully stopped both parts of this card. All right, and we stopped the body too. So that was a pretty good turn cycle. We could go ahead and hit the Ancient Tomb here. I think it's fine to just hit the Ancient Tomb and hope that they don't have a lot of mana sources. Yeah, I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to hit that. We have Consign. We have End Step Brainstorm if we need to. Okay, double Wasteland. We could be completely screwed here. Flush Ricker. I'm just going to consign this while we can because we may not have mana later. Boom. And you could say, oh, but shouldn't you plow that? Well, we don't know what they would do. Maybe they have like a pedal or something in hand. I am going to go ahead and just be brainstorm mana efficient here. Murktide's precisely what we want to find. Cards that are going to go back. I think we could probably Ponder as well, just to get another card in our graveyard. Okay, so the cards we're going to put back. I do think Brainstorm is our pitch to force. I like Ponder. We don't need to draw. Well, yeah, we do. Okay, so I'm going to put Plow back. We may not even need it. And I'll put Island back. We'll draw it. And then we're going to Ponder. And then we're going to Murktide. And we're going to have a big Murktide with Force to protect it. Ponder. We're mainly just getting a card in our graveyard here. These are not great cards. I think actually we're looking for land. So I'm going to shuffle this. A Wasteland would be great. Okay, that's not the worst. Pitch is to force. And now the Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Okay, they're basically 2 swings from death. I don't think they can afford to Wasteland us anymore. But I am very much worried that they have Wastegate Battle Mage. They would need blue mana to use the ability. Right? They're letting us untap. So we do have the option of going ahead and Tamiyoing here. I like just keeping our options open. I would love to brainstorm and put away this Prismatic Ending, which I don't think is going to have any impact on the game. We could potentially brainstorm into a Consign if we need to. So I will be brainstorming if they try to do something here. I can't believe that we're in this position. Like, I feel like I'd never win this. And people are always telling me, oh, it's actually a decent matchup. I don't think it is. Chalice. This is going to be a brainstorm. Emergency brainstorm council in session. Just going to get it out of our hand. We got a bunch of bad cards here. Actually, we can just remove this next turn, assuming they don't waste us. So I think I'll tuck the plow and I'll put Prismatic Ending on top with the aspiration that we can actually cast it, but I doubt we'll be able to. So this resolves. Importantly, this would have been food for Fleshraker if they still had Fleshraker out. I can kill them next turn if I get an attack. I can just Psychic Frog, discard some cards, and exile some cards and deal 10. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to give them another turn. Okay. So we're going to go blue, black, frog. We're going to attack. And I am getting some lag. I wouldn't be surprised if they were just conceding, knowing that we're about to kill them. They don't know that we're going to kill them, but, you know. Discard a card. I'll discard Prismatic Ending as much as it hurts my soul. And now we're going to exile those. I'm not sure what they could have at instant speed to stop us from doing this. Okay, we conceded. We're 1-0 going into round 2. Round 2 up against Jetlag. I think I played against this person before, but we don't have any MTG history of them. Oh, this is Force of Will, keeping the blind. If they just open Wasteland, we're screwed. But I think I keep it on the basis of just having like a ton of options. We have a path to victory in Murktide. Yeah, I'm going to keep this in the blind and hope they're not on tempo. We are on the play. Even if they waste, this will help us work through the waste. That is a mana source. It's not a good one. This doesn't really help us at all. It doesn't help us cast anything in our hand. I'm just going to graveyard it. And we're going to hope to get closer to another blue source. There's the Wasteland. I'm glad I put the Wasteland away. Because I really do want a colored mana source. We're playing 20 colored mana sources. We should eventually draw one. No. Well, yeah, that sucks. Now it's just a question of whether they're on a Daze deck or if they're on a Daze deck probably. So Thoughtseize probably going in the graveyard here. I think maybe we put Daze in the graveyard just because if we do find an Underground Sea, like we're going to be so far behind, we're probably not going to want to cast Daze. And it does feed the eventual Murktide. Let's see what other colors they're pairing this with. Okay, they don't have a land either. I'm really glad I didn't keep that Wasteland. They're discarding a Fatal Push. Okay, so they're on blue-black tempo, I presume. I'm going to play this one out, and I'll pass. So this will serve as installation against... obviously, if they play a... Okay, they're probably just going to trade this off, I would imagine. Okay. I'm just going to waste my own Wasteland. Fancy. If I go to time, I'm going to feel like a dumb for having done that. Because that was like 3 extra clicks. Just trying to be styling. Okay. Yep, this is bad. Okay, so what card is likely to be bad here? I think Daze number 2 is actually not that bad. I think I'm going to put away... So if they're on tempo, Prismatic Ending is potentially really good. I think Thoughtseize is actually bad here. They could be on... Yeah, I'm going to discard Thoughtseize. I'm going to hope that Bowmasters is good because we definitely need something to pull back into this. They may not be in tempo. They may be on Reanimator. That is totally possible. Usually Reanimator plays like one Wasteland and not like multiple. If they are on Reanimator, it may make sense to pitch the ending since it really only addresses Frog. Our Murktide is going to be huge. Oh, they're doing something. Well, I'm going to force this. I was going to go to discard anyway. Okay. We don't have to go to discard anymore. And we stopped a really good card. Now I'm pretty confident they're on tempo. The best draw is a fetch or a Tundra. Nope. All right. So we've seen 14 cards. This is bad variance. 14 cards, 3 lands out of 20. But bad variance does happen. We're not out of this, but we're not favored by any means. And I think in the blind, it's totally reasonable to keep what we kept. We just have had very bad variance. I think what we do here is we just Island Ponder. I do want to line up more lands. This is our window to do so. I don't think Thoughtseize is correct here. Are they dazing this? They're Bowmastering that. Yep. That's going to work. We're seriously behind here. If they have another Wasteland, we're even farther behind. But like, we can still dig out of this. Okay. I don't think Psychic Frog is what we're looking for. I think we're just trying to remove their cards and eventually Psychic Frog. Ponder is actively bad right now. So I do think we'll take the Psychic Frog. I'm going to take the Flooded Strand now. Flooded Strand represents plow into, we get pinged. We're not dead yet, but we're getting close. Them having Wasteland would be absolutely brutal here. I don't even know if we have the luxury. Yeah, we don't even have the luxury of dazing anything here. I think we're going to need to make sure that this plow gets through. Thoughtseize feels really bad in this matchup, and I can't wait to board it out. 4 mana. This could be Kaito. If they're in Kaito, like we were previously. But they seem to be pure blue-black. 6 cards in hand. Not scary at all. Here's Kaito. Yep, we're going to take it. Hexproof. Okay, so my plan is still to plow Frog. And then if I can get, I'll never be able to Prismatic End Kaito. We're probably just dead to Kaito. But my plan is plow Frog, Bowmaster, and hope that they somehow don't have a third Bowmaster. Or a Force. If they have a Force, the game is probably over anyway. Because like they basically have lethal next turn. Yeah, this is just kind of what happens when your deck fails to produce mana. So I'm going to go ahead and just plow immediately. I could Thoughtseize first, but then, if they have multiple Dazes, then that becomes a problem. Actually, yeah, Thoughtseizing is extremely dangerous because they're going to be dealing a ton of damage next turn. I could just PE this and keep the plow up. That's more mana efficient. I could just Bowmaster now with Daze. They could fly. That would keep Kaito off my back for a turn. Then we could plow next turn, but they could go after a white if they find a Wasteland. I'm not sure what the best course of action is here. All I know is I'm like super duper screwed and I'm probably like 2% to win this game. Yeah, I think the high roll play is to go ahead and just Bowmaster here, and they probably have Daze. They may have 2 Dazes. But Dazing will actually get Tundra out of harm's way for next turn because we do need Tundra to be able to win. And if they just have some second form of interaction in their 7-card hand, the game is over. And it is. We're just going to go to the next game. I would have been able to get plow through, but I don't think that that would have been that big of a deal. I think we were so unlikely to win that Orcish Bowmaster being able to block Kaito would have been really good. And then they would have had to fly the Frog, and then we would have gotten our construct or our token back when Bowmaster did damage. We would have dropped a lot in life, but we would have been able to plow the Psychic Frog the subsequent turn, especially if they put a bunch of counters on it. So I don't regret any of those decisions I made. I don't regret the keep. It's important not to fall into result-oriented thinking. All right, so Bowmasters comes in for sure. Bowmasters is really good in this matchup. Prismatic Ending comes in for sure. We could bring in a Plains. I don't think that's bad. I think I'm going to take out Meticulous Archive. And it's an ETB tap land and a Tempo Mirror. I don't like leaving the Forces in, but I think they're better than these other cards. Yeah, let's do it. So we should have the tools to be able to disassemble our opponent. They're on the straight blue-black version. We are on white. We have better removal. We have better removal. Really, that's the only difference between our decks. Okay. Seems totally keepable. We can even fetch the basic planes if we want to. I think we open Tamiyo just to put them in a situation where they have to think about it. If that draws removal, that's fine. We're not going to be able to flip her anyway. We want to be proactive. I don't think they're likely to waste when we have Tamiyo out. This came up in the last round, but I think they're going to want to get on board when we have a Tamiyo out, or at the very least just push her. This double Bowmaster's hand makes me feel very good. It's good against basically everything in their deck, including their Tamiyos. It's good against the Kaito himself. It's good against... okay, they are wasting. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to create some clues. They could be playing Stifle. I doubt it. That's a great pickup. So we're definitely going to go get the plains here. How bad do we get blown out by a stifle? Well, they have to keep their land up if they want to stifle us. I think it's fine to just chill. Every land we don't pull out of the deck is a land that will eventually, is like one more land that we're drawing to. So I often tend to like not do things early on. Yeah, I'm not going to crack this. I'm going to keep creating clues. Because I do suspect like stifle would be one reason they didn't use that. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and plow whatever they put out there. And if they daze, it's not the end of the world. This is the chance for us to get around stifle if they have it. What are the odds they're playing stifle? It is a blue-black tempo deck. I think I am going to do it. I'm just going to do my basic plains like a coward. I've got so many white spells that like I don't believe they have a way to get rid of white, and I can just basically deal with a parade of clowns. Okay, they're just surveilling. We might have dodged the bullet, we might not have. It'll be hard to tell. If later we see a stifle, then we'll know we did. We won't know, but we'll suspect that we did. Shoot the sheriff, totally fine. All right, we are drawing to one fewer lands because we feared stifle, but again, the consequences of that would have been catastrophic. That would have been a situation where it would have made sense to fetch a Tundra instead to find land number 2. So instead we're just chilling. Second frog's fine. I'm going to instep plow this. They're probably going to daze it. But I don't think there's anything to be done. If we find a second land, we can interact through Prismatic Ending. We may have dug our own grave just by fearing stifle. There's the brainstorm. So that tells me they probably didn't have Daze in hand, or they would have just dazed. But they are likely going to find it. They may have taken out Daze on the draw, so we might get a Force of Will. Okay, there's the Force. So it was like an okay trade. But they're going to immediately recoup that if they... Okay, great. So now I'm just going to go ahead and not mess around. I'm just going to go ahead and take this out. I don't think they have a second interaction spell. Yeah, great. Now, I'm afraid that they're going to waste here, but like we had to do that. There's no world in which we're winning just, letting Frog connect in my mind. Thoughtseize is fine. They're going to see that we have several other threats answered, but they could have a giant Murktide, and we don't have an answer to that. If they have a giant Murktide, they probably take Ponder. Okay, they probably have a Murktide. Okay, or they're just going to waste us off, or maybe both. Who knows? Okay, no Murktide this turn. That's good. All right, and I'm definitely going to fetch an... Well, this is actually not bad. I'm just going to hold this up. This is a clue activation. We don't have a land drop. I'm just going to chill. Like, they know that we drew this for turn. Actually, there's no reason to wait. There's no reason at all. Yeah, well, the reason is that we forced them to put it on the stack, so I'm going to do this during their upkeep. Okay, now we can do it. We're going to draw. And the reason I timed it like that makes seem weird, is because that minimized the chance of them having Bowmaster in hand, but it also like kind of gave us a window to respond if they had Bowmasters in hand and they had to play it out in step. Please give me a land. I'll take it. I'm not too proud. All right, we're going to draw here. Do they have the Bowmasters? They don't. We found a land. I'm feeling pretty decent. I'm going to chill. I might get the Surveil land in step. They've already used 2 Wastelands. They could just waste our waste if they want to be aggressive. We do have the blue-black Surveil land. I just want to make sure that I'm not, like, I get at least one turn with it out. There's a frog that we have an answer for. I'm just going to get my island now to ensure that we can deal with multiple consecutive frogs. Am I going to do that? No, I think I am going to go ahead and get the Undercity Sewer just to surveil and try to find another land. I'm pretty sure they did never have Daze or Stifle because they definitely would have used it there. I think we do keep this. Yeah. We'll see what they do here, but we're just going to be super duper passive. If they have double Daze, we do have Force. I just don't want this to connect ever. The Stifle gives us reach against Murktide, which is the other big threat, the only threat that Prismatic Ending doesn't answer. Wasteland would be bad here because that would take us off Prismatic Ending, but we would be able to eventually get back onto it. It's just, and we'd have Plow in the meantime. Tamiyo is kind of scary, but like if they actually put the effort into flipping her, I can just end it. Nethergoyf is another scary threat. I'm not going to force either of these. They're down to 1 card. I think we just take Nethergoyf hits and we try to get rid of Tamiyo. Is my instinct. We did draw another land. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to end Tamiyo. If their last card is Brainstorm, I have Bowmasters. And they know it. Okay, it's gone. Yeah, I'm fine with taking a hit here. I do want to get Bowmasters in. If their last card is Bowmasters, that'll be sad. But we do have the ability to fetch and to play Bowmasters. I'm just playing extremely conservatively. I feel like we've won this game just by grinding their hand. I think I just take this. Another Tamiyo. That's fine. I think it might actually be fine to go ahead and stick Bowmasters now, because that way they won't be able to Brainstorm to flip her. They'll never have a window to do that. I'm not sure what their last card is. It quite likely could be like a Fatal Push or something. So we don't have a Surveil Land in our deck, so I'm just going to chill on that. Wasteland is just more mana. I can go ahead and put Brainstorm on the stack. I don't want this Wasteland. I don't really want this Force. Murktide's great. Okay, so I think we put this back. I mean, Murktide, they've already used their Shoot the Sheriff, so I don't think, like, but they could have like a Brazen Borrower. Yeah, I think we will. I don't think I want this second Murktide. No, Force of Will can protect, but I don't know how important it is. We can just keep recasting the Murktide. I think I'm going to put that back like that. And now I have the potential to do multiple Murktides across 2 turns, if I would so choose. I'll go ahead and grab this. I'm not sure that there's any... Yeah, if they make the mistake of blocking here, I can just hit with the... I can just Bowmasters the Tamiyo, but I don't think they'll block. Okay, that's fine. I think we do hold the Bowmasters in case they have their own Bowmasters. The real question is, do we want to go ahead and plow the Nethergoyf? It does represent a lot of damage. Tamiyo attacking represents clues. They do have mana. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and attempt to plow here. Their last card very well could be Daze. Okay, and now I'm just going to chill. We're going to try to not have to use our Bowmasters, but we do have it if we need to. They're fetching. They have a second Surveil. No, they're just getting a basic. I definitely could have played a Tamiyo there. I think that was probably a misplay for me to not play it, because I would like to be drawing cards here. All right. 2 cards in hand. I don't think there's any reason to expose ourselves. There's another Tamiyo that we can't really cast. I'm going to hope that they have some combination of Force Blue card as their final cards. This is 5/5. And then the next one will be even bigger. I think we just pass. I don't think we need to attack. I'm worried that they will have a Bowmasters. I'll just attack, and if they Bowmaster, that's fine. We'll take our 1 damage. Borrower. Shoot the Sheriff. They had a second one. Okay. All right, so we're going to take 3 damage here, which is not good. But we are going to deploy another Murktide, and I think short of them flipping Tamiyo, I think it's extremely unlikely they have like a third removal spell, but they could have a Brazen Borrower. If they have Brazen Borrower, Orcish Bowmasters, they'll shoot it out of the sky if they cast it. About 12 minutes to win this game and the subsequent game. We're going to have to do it on the draw next time. That is good for us. That grows our Murktide, or our Orc Army. I think we are actually winning the race, but this does make their... this gives them sorcery type. Doing a quick inventory of my graveyard, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 instances of sorceries. There's a frog. That's fine. Interesting. How is that still a 3/4? I guess they don't have any creatures because we've been exiling everything. Yeah, I'm going to take the 3 here. Okay, no Wasteland. That's what I like to see. I would love to get another blue source. I mean, we could Tamiyo and then Flipper. Is that good? I think that might be okay because we could regrow. I think the correct thing to do is just make a giant Murktide. I mean, that does shut us off from doing anything else with our mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and we can still definitely lose this game for sure if they have an answer to this. Because they could borrow and then they could potentially, assuming they don't have a Bowmasters of their own, Brainstorm could be good next turn. Even if they have a Bowmasters of their own, we can Bowmaster their Bowmaster. Not sure what they're thinking about here. They're not going to be able to attack with Frog. I will block Frog and let Nethergrowth through, unfortunately. So we are getting low. But if they find the Brazen Borrower, then we're in serious trouble. Like, we probably lose. Ponder. I think at this point, like, we are going to point that at them. We could point it at the Nethergoyf, but like they may have some trick to make a Nethergoyf bigger. Do they have the Brazen Borrower? They have another Nethergoyf. Okay. They may be able to try to bully us here. What's their last card? No attacks. So we can actually make them chump us if we find a Frog. So here's what I think we do. I think we go ahead and Brainstorm. I want to find a land. If I find another, yeah, and I have Bowmasters if they do have, but I'm cool with finding like really any removal spell. Force Will is not good. There is a blue source. So I think we put back a Tamiyo and a Daze. Now we can play a blue source. We can play out Tamiyo. We still have Bowmasters up. We have Force for whatever the next play is. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attack like this. And they can attack, but they're going to get double Bowmastered if they do, and they're going to die. And we can force it through if we need to. 9 minutes on the clock. Ponder's fine. I could have killed him. That was bad. I mean, they're basically dead after this resolves, but I should have Bowmastered there. That was a misplay. Because they wouldn't have had any counterplay. They wouldn't have been able to push or anything like that. The trigger would have been on the stack. They could still find a way out now. They won't be able to force, though. They won't have cards to double Daze. Yeah, I like how I played this game. I think it was very conservative. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you notice anything where like I could have ended this a long time ago, but I felt like, so even if they find Borrower, it's not going to matter. I'm not sure how they can get out of this. If they put anything on the stack, I'll go ahead and Bowmasters. I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Okay, we got it. That was touch and go for sure, but just the decision to get the basic planes and just, have all that removal. That wasn't a decision. We drew on that removal. We used all of our removal. I think we removed like 5 or 6 things that game. I think we keep it the same way. Like the Force didn't feel great. Daze didn't feel great, but Thoughtseize just feels so bad in this matchup when they're doing a lot of damage to you, like they're hitting you with Nethergoyfs. I think there's an argument for having a 21st land in the deck, but yeah, I don't know. 21 lands. I don't know. I don't think it's going to give us a chance to change the deck. Yeah. Okay, so this is a good hand. I like the fact that we have Tamiyo plus Brainstorm. I like the fact that we have 3 lands. I like the Bowmaster a lot. I'm going to keep this. We're not going to play on basics. We're just going to start jamming our colors. I think we do wait a turn to play Tamiyo because if we wait a turn, that gives us the opportunity to protect her with Brainstorm. And she's important. Okay, I'm going to presume they don't have Daze, Stifle. Okay, they're surveilling. We'll definitely be surveilling as well. Even if they play a Wasteland, I'm going to surveil. We don't have any white cards in our hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the blue-black surveil land. Nethergoyf's fine. They're passing. I am going to attempt to get my surveil land. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for exile-based removal. I'm looking for additional fetch lands and or anything that can get me to a basic plains. I think actually we keep this because this gives us a defense mechanism against... Do we keep this? On the draw, this is one of the weaker cards that we'd happily board out. I think we don't keep this. Hopefully, I don't regret that. Okay, Wasteland is fine. I am just going to play out a Tamiyo and pass. And I suspect they're likely to waste us here. If they waste, I probably just let it happen and float. I don't want to get Bowmastered. It's important to note that if they Bowmaster during their turn and point the counters at Tamiyo, my triggers go on the stack last, which means they resolve first. There's no reason not to attack there. Well, I will take it. Like any turn where I'm getting extra time is a good turn. We still don't have a reason to fetch. I do like the ability to fetch here. I think I'm going to float that up there. I'm going to go and attack. We now have Bowmasters around Daze. Let's go ahead and attempt to brainstorm here. If they attempt to Bowmasters, what I can do is I can just brainstorm again. They're pushing a second time. Well, I am going to attempt to brainstorm a second time now that I know that they can't Bowmasters a second time. Wow, that is just insane. And we found a Prismatic Ending, just the chef's freaking kiss. Our Prismatic Ending could very easily get Daze, which we don't need to happen. I don't want this Wasteland anymore. I don't think we need Force. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to attempt to end the Netherwave here. Oh, we get another one. I forgot. All right. Yeah, I don't think we really need the waste still. I still don't think we need Force. Force actually is that good because we can protect Tamiyo a little bit. I don't think we do. I don't think where we're going, we care about those kinds of things. That was an absolute blowout, by the way. Plus, I am going to attempt to end this now. I've got plenty of fetches. I need to fetch anyway. If they get rid of it, like I've got plenty of counterplay next turn. Do I want to get the planes? Yeah, I think it's worth getting it out. Oh, wow. This is just the best sequence of events imaginable. Having double brainstorm. Like my opponent has to be so tilted. But Andrea Mangucci says, never feel bad for your opponents. I don't know why he says that. It sounds menacing. I don't think they have a way to deal with this. I think we can go ahead and plus. And I'm just going to play a land and I'm going to hold up freaking 3 Bowmasters. Why not? We don't have any more. I'll just keep this later in case I need to fetch away something. Yeah, and they may be thinking like, okay, well, I've got Bowmasters now, but I've got like so many things to shoot down their Bowmasters with. Yeah, that is going to hit us for 1. Okay, I think it's fine to just go ahead and shoot now. Shoot first, ask questions later. Why am I doing this now instead of during combat? Just to reduce the likelihood they have a hardcast Force. I don't think they have Daze, so I'll hit their Bowmaster. Hopefully this crimps some of, like, they have Ponders and stuff in their hand. They are fetching. If they do a second Bowmasters, I'll just go ahead and Bowmaster their Bowmaster again. Okay, why are they fetching now? That's weird. They just double fetched. Okay, they're Bowmastering now, which doesn't matter. They've got 1 card in hand. I've got 2 Bowmasters. That's fine. So your Bowmaster resolves. Killing my Bowmaster, which killed your Bowmaster. Wait, did they screw this up? How is it that I'm still alive with Bowmasters? Oh, I'm going to go ahead and Bowmaster them again. Because they have 1 card in hand, and I don't think it's Daze. And now, presto, we've got a Orc army that can block. And we're just going to keep going up with Tamiyo. 2 cards in hand. Hopefully one of them's like a Ponder or something. Long goodbye. That does address it. And if they attack, I'll just take it. I think that's bad. Especially considering this. But I'm not going to block. I'm just going to Bowmaster them again. I don't think they'll have anything to deal with multiple Bowmasters. And I think it is fine to go ahead and attempt to brainstorm just to bait out a Bowmasters. And then I don't really have anything I want to put back though. Yeah, I'll hold the brainstorm for later. I'm going to ponder though. What am I looking for? Murktide? Murktide, indeed. Murktide's great. I don't mind Force. It's good to know that Force is on top of my deck. Daze is terrible. Okay. So we should be able to make a pretty large Murktide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can make full size. I'm going to do that. Blue, blue, Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full size boy. Gonna close this game. All right, it's in. We're gonna go and attack with everybody. We've got no reason to hold back. We're winning the race. We have a second Bowmasters on deck if necessary. We will draw a Force eventually, but I don't think that it's worth. Like, we're gonna have to crack that fetch to go get it. Our opponent is pondering into our double Bowmaster. We could actually make this a triple Bowmaster. Maybe I should have. Maybe that was loose. We're going to have a giant army. All right. Let's just double ping this army. They could Bowmaster in response. I think it's fine. I just want to get rid of this. We can always cast a third Bowmaster if necessary. Okay, we got rid of it. Now they're going to have to shoot the sheriff, and they're going to have to deal with a pretty large army. They're on Murktide, which is smaller than ours. Yeah, I mean, let's see. We're drawing I think we just draw the Force. We can even hardcast it. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. 2 attacks from our side should end the game. If they attack, we can just crack back. I think I'm going to chill. And I will probably pitch cast Force because I don't want to risk them dazing. And I like having this other Bowmaster up. Okay, that's great to see them play yet another land at this point. This is the last card. I'm just going to go ahead and hardcast Force. This should end the game. They have a Force block next turn. We can kill them. And I think it's deterministic. Yeah, man, our opponent's luck with us having double Brainstorm. That was just absolutely savage. That was cool. I'm glad I caught that on film. Just goes to show you that, like, we are structurally favored with all our exile-based removal, with all of our, just the sheer volume of removal. 8 removal cards, almost all of which are relevant. These have been fights. These have been scraps, but we're 2-0. See you in round 3. All right, round 4, we're up against Baconator. Can't endorse consumption of that. We've got a decent hand. This is a Cephalid Breakfast matchup. I like the Force. I like the fact that we're on the play. I'm going to keep this. So the way that you beat Breakfast is just kind of overwhelm them, I guess, with things to do while you're also disrupting them. So this Wasteland will be good. Keep them off of 4 mana. Just hope to pull ahead with Tamiyo. Tamiyo into Psychic Frog is a very strong start. If we draw a blue card, I can deploy the frog. If they open Nomad, okay, they open this way, which is great. So we can definitely frog next turn. They may have a Daze for it. Prismatic Ending, not as good as you might think. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and press my advantage and be aggressive here. They may have Plow for frog. That's okay. They can't plow both frog and Tamiyo. And we'll see whether they have follow-up lands. This is one of those matchups where if they cast Urza Saga, you actually just go for the other lands, and you're happy that their land is going to go away. You just want to keep them lean on resources. If they Daze here, that's like double time walk for them. Okay. Double time walk against them, really, because they're going to have to Meticulous Archive again. They did keep. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a plow. It's fine. 1 for 1. Ponder. So if they get to a point where they have a critical mass of mana, then you're in trouble. I would love to flip Tamiyo, because flip Tamiyo is pretty good against them. I don't know how many prismatic endings they're playing. Okay. Plow definitely makes me feel a little more comfortable because their combo is a creature combo. I'm going to go ahead and attack. They're not going to be able to, if I go ahead and waste them, they're not going to be able to stop me next turn because they need 3 mana to win. They could have Lotus Petal. I think it's unlikely. I'm going to go ahead and see what I draw here. Because if I find a Ponder or a Brainstorm I can flip, this is a good card. I think I am going to go ahead and do this now. How do I get blown out? Well, if they have enough redundant copies, they can still combo. Okay, so their hand is Nomads, Shuko, Teferi. I don't want Teferi to resolve. I have the other angles covered. I think we just hit Teferi. We're definitely going to waste their green source, but they can get a second green source. So we're definitely not out of the woods, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I do think that Teferi would be devastating. So I'm going to take Teferi. They have so much mana. It's just a matter of time before they draw to their outs. So they have 2 A's. They could just win with Nomads next turn, and there's nothing we can do if they find the right card. They're drawing wild. If they draw a Cephalid next turn, that's a huge problem. If they draw a Nadu next turn, it's not that huge of a problem because we do have Plow, but they are going to draw. I don't know that they will play out both Nomad and I don't know that they'll play out a Nomad if they don't have okay, what am I trying to say? Well, I can't end both Shuko and Nomad, so one of the smartest things they could do would be just go Shuko, Nadu, Shuko, Nomads, and then they have outs to like both of those because I've only got one white source. This is okay. She's already yielded a card. Not that sheer card count really matters a whole lot in this matchup. Shuko is actually the weaker of the 2 equipment. I could plow it or exile it. Okay, double Wasteland is fine. It's not great. I think what we do here is we probably just waste to keep them down a card, and we just hold up the source to Plowshares because we may have to hit the actual Cephalid Illusionist. Yeah, we're going to have a draw step. I don't like exiling Shuko because Shuko's like literally the worst equipment ever printed. I mean, it's like a terrible card. All right. If they find Nadu, we're in deep trouble. They're going to get 2 triggers before we exile it. Nomad is fine. That is totally okay. I'm just trying to decide whether I plow now to get rid of that. I think it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and plow now. Just to deny them a life. I know it sounds kind of lame, but it may matter. Okay, now end step we can draw. This is fun. I like this matchup a lot. Okay, now we have Daze. We've got another Wasteland. We're going to go after the Savannah here. Wow, that's a good draw. I'm going to start by Thoughtseizing them. See how many lands they have left in their hand. I'm just going to X out all these. Oh, they have the Illusionist. So we will take Illusionist for sure. And that leaves them with Force of Will in their hand. No blue card. I think we go ahead and waste here. I'm not too... Yeah, I think I waste and I end with Shuko just to reduce the likelihood of them just drawing in and winning. They have green sources. We might be able to waste them off all their green sources. They actually don't play that many green sources. We'll definitely waste them off a blue here. And now all we're doing is waiting for a win con. So now they don't actually have that many outs. They have to draw a land and a Nadu. We do have Daze, which is a 1-mana answer to what they may have. Okay, they didn't play a land here. That's good. Murktide is what we're looking for. And now we have a force to protect Murktide if we need it. I'm going to keep up the illusion of Plow here. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to come in pretty big. If they drew a blue card, they may be able to just force this now. But we'll force back. And we'll both be hellbent, but I'll have a Murktide on the table. And they'll be not very close to their AB combo. Okay, so they pitched a Nadu. That's good. I'm just going to pitch. And they need to draw a Plow. Stat. They could draw a Plow. They've got 3 turns to find one. They found a Nomad. That is half their combo. They can still win. Wasteland is great. It does basically make it to where I think we shut off the Tundra here. It's just, if that shuts off cantrips. Like, we're using the whole whale here. Every single card that we could possibly use here, we're having to use. They're attack for 1. A lot of live draws. That's one of them. I'm just going to swing in. We are protected against them comboing, but we're not protected against them having a plow. But it's unlikely. Yeah, we get it. That felt really good. Really good to be on the play and have lots of interaction. Again, like, this deck loves to trade combo. Let's go to game 2. Sideboard. I do have a sideboard guide that I should probably consult here. They are on the actual breakfast plan, but they may be boarding it out. Okay. So I believe that I literally just did a video yesterday, where I talked to 2 of the people that place very well with, breakfast, including the 4th place at Eternal Weekend. So Bowmasters definitely comes in. I don't think we bring in Cage. I do think we bring in Endings. The reason we don't bring in Cage is because they may not keep the combo. They may not keep the combo in because we just have so much hate. And if they don't bring the combo in, we're going to completely decimate them in the fair game. But, okay, so we can definitely cut this island. I mean, Cage is good specifically at stopping them comboing, but they're not playing Green Sun Zenith, so it's definitely weaker against the breakfast Nadu than it is the other. And basically, Max and Avi, who I hung out with, they were like so thrilled whenever an opponent played the Cage, because that basically meant like, oh, it's a dead draw. Borrower's not super good here. It can hit tokens. Yeah, maybe we don't bring in the endings. I mean, it does stop a lot of stuff. I think we do bring in the endings. Okay, let me take a look at my guide. Okay, let's just take a look at how I recommend we sideboard against Nadu. -1 island, -4 dazes, -1 borrower. Okay, and then we do bring in the cages, endings, Bowmaster, Containment Priest, which is no longer in. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a couple dazes on the draw. And I could just take out all the dazes. They're going to play around it. Bring in Cage just to stop maybe 1 Cage, 1 Surgical. Surgical is not good against them, by the way, because they have, but Cage is good because it does stop I think we do double Cage. And I think it's very likely that they boarded this out and they're going to be like, oh, amateur. But the upside of being able to shut off their combo is good if they are not specifically on the aggressive combo strategy. Hopefully my submission worked. Okay. This is a keepable hand, actually. We're on the draw, but I like the double waste because if they have a turbo hand, we're just dead. And I'm going to accept that. But they also would be reluctant to turbo. So Undercity Sewers, we're going to try to find another colored mana source. A lot of times this deck does just turn to you. But if they took out the combo, then we're actually in a pretty good space. If they kept the combo in and they turbo Nomad into, okay, Plains, Nomad. Okay, so we may die. We may just be dead. Especially if they have like a Daze or something to back this up. Okay, I'm just going to play, and pretend that I have action. That is a great card to keep on top. Yeah. We'll see what happens. At the very least, we'll get to see their deck, and game 3 will be on the play. They are passing, which is great for us. I'm going to definitely waste that, and I'm going to play Tamiyo. Oh, they just wanted to attack first. Yep. So they win. We might be able to scare them. You always make them do it, by the way. They have Chant in their deck. I'm just going to slowly tab through these because I want them to think that I have interaction, like a Surgical or something. Okay, Narcomoeba. This is normally where you would Surgical if you had Surgical. I actually didn't bring a Surgical in. I mean, if I had Surgical in my hand right now, it would be insane, but it's not like I drew Cage, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're going to see if they keep going or if they get spooked. They pass. They pass. Right, how do we break this up? Well, we know we're not drawing a... we plow the Illusionist. That's how we break it up. I'm going to start by attempting to brainstorm. And if they daze this, GG. But I need to find a white source. I didn't find a white source. I did find a force. They may have something in their hand that is preventing them from being able to win. I think it's fine to just waste them here. Because, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. So I'll draw the lands next turn. Maybe I actually want to draw... So I know I don't want to draw these. These are not going to do us any good. We don't have another way to draw them to them. What we're going to basically have to do is hope to slow them down. If they're just going to attack, that's okay. Our only interaction is force blue card, which will be probably Tamiyo. No, maybe next turn we'll play Tamiyo. And we'll use this Murktide. Killing them quickly doesn't really matter. Okay, I think they're probably trying to draw into like a Nadu win. It's quite possible that they have Dread Return in hand. So if I force this, I actually probably freak them out. I think I need to force this, otherwise they can just win. Pitch a Murktide. They probably think I have Surgical. They're going for it anyway. That's very bold. Okay, they have Veil in their deck now. We're getting to see more of their true colors here. That was very good against us. There's no point in... Maybe if I stop and think for a minute, like maybe they'll be thinking, okay, he definitely has Veil. Okay, so I've thought for a minute. They do have Memory's Journey. They did flip Memory's Journey, so that was like a natural place where I would potentially pause. Okay, they're continuing to go for it. They can still Memory's Journey and just put it... They can put it on top of their deck. If they do that, I do have Brazen Borrower, and Brazen Borrower can just bounce Cephalid. Just by targeting it, they'll mill. If they don't have the Dread Return. I haven't seen the Dread Return. I think it's possible Dread Return is in their... No, wait, Dread Return is in their graveyard. So this is a pointless exercise. I'm just trying to psych them out. This is getting us a little bit of clock back. Very tiny amount. Okay, one card in hand. The question is, are they going to... Like, if they go ahead and do it here, there's nothing I can do. They do have the cards to sack to Dread Return on the Oracle. I'm just going to concede. Yeah. Okay, so we saw that they are playing 1 Carpet, 2 Carpet, 1 Teferi. I'm assuming 4 Nadu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other cards we're looking for. So Urza Saga, 1. Only 1 Urza Saga that I saw. Oh, 2. And then in terms of removal, they probably have all 4 plows in against our deck, I would imagine. 3. So Orange Chant. I only saw 1 Teferi. So this is very similar. This might be the exact... Yeah. My opponent said that was unexpected. Yeah, precisely. You should think it's unexpected because... but we know they're keeping the combo in. I think even on the draw. So I do think it makes sense to bring these in. Because this stops their graveyard. But what do we have to cut? Borrower's pretty bad. Like it deals with a construct token, but it's just not a great card overall. I do think a Surgical would be good. Probably better than Cage number 3. So we could do that change. I do like having Daze. We could cut Murktides. And we could just win off of these creatures. Like closing a game with Murktide requires you tapping out. I do think Daze might be better. We could easily die to constructs though, just by virtue of not having enough interaction. But I mean, these Bowmasters are a legit threat against them. Psychic Frog's a legit threat. Yeah, I think I'm going to just go higher on interaction. Yeah, but my opponent said, well, that was unexpected. That's precisely why you make them play it out. Because like there is a very real world where my opponent does the line where they're like, oh, I'll just Memory's Journey. I don't know actually if there's a situation where you would Memory's Journey. when you had Dread Return. This seems like a really good hand. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to open Tamiyo. And because I snap kept, my opponent might presume that I have force or something like that, some sort of graveyard hate, but I actually don't have any. I just like opening Tamiyo and pressing my advantage. That worked game one, and hopefully that'll work this game. I like Plow a lot against their deck. It does stop their combos, assuming they don't have a Teferi or an Orange Chant. It does get through Veil of Summer as well, which is a card they're playing. So this Veil of Summer alone is a reason that this is like way more favored than the other one, than Blue-Black Tempo. So we're going to Tundra here, and we're going to Tamiyo. All right, and if they Plower, that's not the big deal. We'll be able to flip her 2 turns from now. I mean, we could technically flip her if we ponder twice. Okay, that is aggressive. What are they doing here? They plowing? Carpet? Yep, that is a source of mana. And now I do kind of regret not, like, having seen those 2 carpets, I probably should have brought in my planes. That was probably a misplay. Here's the plow. Nothing I can do about it. I would love to find a Prismatic Ending here. I think I ponder for Prismatic Ending. Let's see. Bowmasters is good. Wasteland is good too, but I don't think Mana Denial is going to work now. I think we just have to play a Flooded Strand. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Bowmasters, and then I'm going to just play out this Strand. So we do have removal up, but I don't want to give them 2 mana next turn. I'm going to hope that they go ahead and play something out that I can poke the following turn. Unfortunately, I can't both plow now and poke next turn. Well, actually, I can off of Underground Sea. Yeah, this card is a problem for us for sure. What I'll probably do is I'll probably Surveil and step if we make it that far without them doing anything. Nadu, yep, Nadu is good. And they're just passing. So I think we want to Surveil and then we want to plow. Yeah, I'll get the blue-white here. I need all the blue-white I can get. Is that true? Yeah, I mean, like, gosh, this is hard. Okay, so we get blue-white, then we have double plow up. We're almost certainly going to need to use, yeah, I think we need double plow up, just in case they have a way to interact. Is this good enough? What would a dream card that we could draw be? Prismatic Ending. We don't have a shuffle effect. I think I'm going to graveyard this. That might seem greedy. Bowmasters is good. I think we do have to just make sure we can plow this successfully. I think that overrides any other concerns. Nomad. Okay. So they get a free Nomad. They're going to have a ton of mana next turn. We can Bowmaster the Nomad. I think we just hold. They're going to get a ton of mana. Yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. Like, pondering for Prismatic Ending could stop them from getting a ton of mana, but I think we just have to hope that Bowmasters does some damage here. Urza Saga, I'm not worried about. Like, they can create a bunch of constructs for sure with all that mana we're giving them. Okay. I think they're just going to pass without doing anything, which is crazy. No white. There's no meds. Okay, and now I'm just going to hope that they don't have a Daze. They could have Veil here. They do. That is okay. So this is going to poke me, sadly, because we don't have the army yet. Okay, so I'll take a damage, but I will get a pretty big army here. Okay, actually, it's not a big army at all. It's a tiny army. Teeny tiny. Okay, so now we have force up. I think it's okay. Like, let's say hypothetically we did find Prismatic Ending for City. I think it's worth trying. And then at the very worst, we could... Well, we have to get rid of this first. I think we hold force specifically to deal with... Yeah. I think we just have to give them the mana next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Bowmasters number 2, and then we're going to be able to hit them for more. Assuming this resolves and they don't have yet another Veil. If they have a Veil, will I force? Probably. They're going to be able to get a B off of the other one. Is this another Veil? It is. Yeah, I think we force here. Call me crazy. Okay, we got rid of their thing. So we have basically 2 turns. They can create a construct next turn with all the mana they have. If they Nadu, I'll plow it again. If they have a bunch of cantrips in their hand, they're going to have to worry about that. Yeah, they have the mana. There's no reason not to create a construct here. It'll be tiny though, and we'll be able to bowl it over when we attack with our team. This carpet has completely warped this game. All right, this is kind of a 2-for-1. 1-for-1, I guess. That's fine. I definitely don't want to have to plow that. I think I just have to attack and hope that they block that. Okay, this represents a Surveillant. It's a terrible draw. I am going to play it out just so I have the ability to potentially shuffle. I think they're just going to take this and then they're going to have a pretty big construct on the table. But I need to hedge against Nadu. I just don't have the luxury of not being able to address a Nadu when they have Shuko. So they are going to be able to get the thing. They can turn off activated abilities if they want, but I'm pretty sure they'll grab a Shuko. There's also the issue that if I plow, like they know I'm hellbent, and that's a bad place to be. Okay. So these are going to be bigger than my armies. There's the Shuko. They're equipping. There's the land. They have 2 cards left in hand. Narcomoeba. Not a big deal. But we are going to get tempoed out pretty quickly here. I do have another Surveillant in my deck. I am going to grab it. Yeah, and they're going to have even more mana. That sucks. All right, but we have to find a good card off Surveil. In terms of cards that are good, Prismatic Ending for the Carpet of Flowers I think is too late now. This is not good enough. Another Bowmaster would be good. Huh. Oh, no. No. We were doing really well. So let's see. I mean, they're going to be hitting us for a lot here. We can't hit back. We could hold this as a brainstorm target. I think there's no reason to play it out. I'm just going to chill. It's possible they have cantrips in hand that we're stopping with our Bowmaster. They're going to surveil here. We've got all the mana in the world. We do have to keep this plow up just out of respect for them winning the game like instantly. The other option, of course, the desperation move, is to just plow one of the constructs and then block with the Orc Army, and then we've taken out both of the constructs and they're attacking us with Narcomoeba, which is not like, ugh. All right, well, I think we don't have a choice now. I'm just going to plow now. Jig is up. They know exactly what's in our hand. They can bounce the army. They will draw and create a new one, and I will poke the Narcomoeba if they do that. If they bounce the Bowmaster, I'm just going to recast Bowmaster next turn and hit the Narcomoeba. Actually, I would probably hit Teferi. Or they're just plussing, which is scary. I will block. Oh, they're not going to even attack. All right. So I think that they're likely just, they've got what they need to win lined up. That's terrible. That's like the worst, one of the worst possible draws. All right. We're going to keep playing, but I'm not hopeful. Like, they have so many good draws in their deck now. They have so much mana. Teferi can always minus a draw card if they need to. We can't interact at all on the stack, like really on their turn at all. Here's the mana. If they just play the thing, I'll just scoop. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to concede. Yep, good games. I feel like maybe we made a mistake there somewhere along the line. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Had we pondered without the shuffle, we didn't ever see a Prismatic Ending despite playing 4 of them. So we didn't have a good answer to Carpet. The only punt I can tell you was definite was me not boarding in a Plains. I should have boarded in a basic Plains. All right, let's go to round 4. All right, round 4. We're 2-1. Losing to breakfast. We're up against an unknown opponent. This is an Island Ponder hand. I don't like the double Murktide. It's an unknown opponent. If this is grindy, Murktide's fine. I like the Wasteland if they are on Urza Saga deck. We'll just try it. If they're a tempo deck, this is pretty good because we have lots of mana sources. If they're a combo deck, we're pretty cold. We didn't mulligan to force. Right, Delta. This is like basically the worst hand I would consider keeping. All right, Island Ponder. That's a good start for us in terms of us likely not being totally dead here. But it does give me like potential blue-black reanimator vibes. Force would be good. I think we just waste. I know it sounds like kind of meh. But if they are low on lands, they shuffled off that Ponder. Another Underground Sea. I mean, this could just go get Troll here. I think what we do is I'm going to go ahead and play out the land, and then we have Daze up, and we can wait a turn to see if they have another land. I do think it's better for us to get the other Surveil land here. We don't need either color. Like our hand is mono blue right now. If they don't give us anything to deal with, it's notable that, okay, I always let these resolve. If they brainstorm lock themselves, power to them. If they don't, then we'll figure out how to deal from there. I don't want to set myself back a turn, dazing a brainstorm, and then just have them play a second land. I mean, like it could be like a super gigabrain play to be doing this and inviting a Daze when you actually don't care about the brainstorm. Okay, they did find a land, but it's not a black source. I think we might be able to waste them here. I am going to go ahead and get a Surveil land. I'm going to get my blue-white Surveil land. Any sorcery or instant we can Surveil into the yard does help. I wouldn't mind putting it. I'm not going to put that back against a blue deck. All right. So now, if they start wasting us, that's very good for us. We've already wasted them one time. I think it's fine to go ahead and waste them here. And just to have Daze plus the ability to pay for it. Okay. Yeah, that worked. It may have been optimal to wait till upkeep, but if they have like an Entomb hand or something, that would be bad. Okay. Okay, so Doomsday probably. Cabal Ritual. I think we let this happen. It's just 3 mana. Okay, and I'm just going to float a blue here, and I'm going to Daze this. And they force, then we're basically screwed. We have no counterplay whatsoever. If they Daze, they can't Daze. They have to have force. Okay, and they force. Okay, so we probably lost. But there are a few live draws, assuming they don't just like. No, I think we probably lost. They were on the play. I think we did everything fine. We didn't know what they were on. We had no reason to assume that they were on Doomsday. Doomsday is like maybe 3% of the meta. Blue-black Reanimator is like maybe 15% of the meta. So it was not likely they were on this. If they have a multi-pass the turn line, then we do have Bowmasters, but I don't think Bowmasters is going to be strong enough. Murktide is definitely a dog here in this game and probably in this matchup. Let's take a look. So I'm going to use my BCD FOP acronym. Buffalo Chicken Dip. FOP is a fancily dressed person, like overdressed for the occasion. Let's go ahead and take a look. And they are passing priority after that. So let's count the Dazes. 1, 2, 3. 3 Dazes is how many they typically play. So the brainstorms, 1 brainstorm, 2 brainstorms, 3, 4. They've got nice old border ponder. These are pretty expensive on MTGO. Oh, it's a turbo version without frog. Yeah, I don't see any frogs here. Push. I don't see any fatal pushes. It's quite possible they just don't play any, and they're like all in on the combo. In terms of cyclers, they have not brought their cyclers in, which makes me think maybe they're going to do like the Lion's Eye Diamond is out. So I'm not sure how they plan to win quickly. Maybe they plan to win over several turns. The other cards we need to look for are Caverns. I don't see Cavern here. Okay, BCD, FOP, Ponder. Let's see how many Ponders they have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and did we count the Brainstorm? 1, 2, 3. So I think they have a Brainstorm in hand or in their pile. Wait, let me count one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so hard. Like you're probably just screaming at the screen right now, but it's so hard in the moment. And then let's just see how many Thoughtseize they play. 1, 2 Thoughtseize. Okay, I have no idea what's in their pile. I think it's probably like fetch lands and oracles. So yeah, we might actually get enough time to do something of consequence here. Okay, and if we do have enough time to do something of consequence, the real question is, can we afford to play these Surveillance? I don't think we had the luxury of just chilling and waiting. Like I could definitely Island Ponder to find a Force of Will. They don't have Force in their pile, but they're almost certainly going to use a Caverns line. I like the idea of having more mana available. I am going to go ahead and just play this out now. This doesn't really give away a lot of information. Psychic Frog is too slow, frankly. Well, let's see. Psychic Frog, we play a land, we play the Psychic Frog itself. I don't think Psychic Frog is fast enough. I'm going to pitch it. And it would require us going all the way down in interaction. What I would like to do is find a... okay, Street Wraith. So they have another Street Wraith in their deck. I think they're going to go for it this turn. Is a Street Wraithing. Okay. Now they're putting that in the yard. They have played their land drop for turn. Wasteland is not live anymore. So they definitely have enough mana. Okay, so they are doing a double pass the turn line, which normally I'd be excited about, but we're dead next turn for sure. Okay, that's not a good draw. I'm not sure what we could even find that's relevant here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and attempt to ponder here because I don't think Bowmasters does anything here. Like, so they have 3 cards in their deck. I mean, what are the odds? I think they're extremely low. But if they do go for like a... Okay, if they go for it, I can borrow. And that might work, assuming they don't have a fourth Daze in their deck. They only had 3 in exile. I definitely could have played a Murktide and killed them 2 turns from now, but I don't think that's fast enough. Thoughtseize. So I think what I need to do here is go ahead and Bowmasters. Yeah, this is a super weak play. But here's the interaction. What is this, a Brainstorm? This is a Daze. Okay. I'm going to concede because I don't want them to see that I'm playing white. Yeah, they definitely weren't going to screw that up. Like I can't imagine a world in which they screwed that up. They saw nothing but blue-black, so they're going to assume I'm on blue-black tempo, or they should assume I'm on blue-black tempo based on me casting Orcish Bowmasters. I don't think white matters a whole lot, but it does matter a lot if they are planning to go on the tempo plan. I don't think Consign comes in. Consign's not good enough in this matchup. I'm going to cut an island. It shouldn't matter. And I think we cut Dazes? Thoughtseize is really good. I don't want to cut Plow. Maybe I don't bring in the endings. I don't know. Let's take a look. They have no MTGO history. This is Turbo Doomsday. They could definitely board into a combo tempo plan, but actually Prismatic Ending is pretty good against that. Combined with Murktide and Borrower. I think we just run it like this. I don't think there's a reason to bring in Consign. Like that's like a very much like if they're actually resolving Doomsday, they can probably figure out a way to play around Consign. I haven't lost to Doomsday a whole lot. I consider this to be a favorable matchup, but losing game 1 against them definitely feels bad. Okay. This is not terrible, Prismatic Ending can potentially, like, I'm trying to think of the hate cards they could have. Did we see any green mana or anything like that? I don't think we did. I think it's just straight blue-black. I mean, Bowmasters is a good card. Being able to Wasteland them multiple times. A lot of times they don't build piles around Wasteland. This is also pretty resilient to like them Thoughtseizing. It's like, okay, great. You take a Bowmasters. I'm going to waste you a bunch. We do have these Surveil lands to help select. Am I crazy for keeping this? I mean, they have Lion's Eye Diamond. They have Lotus Petals. I don't think this is a keepable hand. This is a so much better hand. I'm so glad. I am so glad. I'm going to go ahead and just like thin my deck since I've got a lot of lands. So I will put back the Underground Sea here. And we're going to open with a Thoughtseize, which is like a great way to start a Doomsday matchup. Again, still hiding the fact that we have access to white. And I definitely see a Murktide in our future if they don't give us reason to... Okay, so Personal Tutor's fine. They have a Doomsday. I feel like we just take the Doomsday. They Personal Tutor, or they Thoughtseize, we could Daze it. Then we still have Waste Up. Oh man, this is a pretty gassy hand, but it's notable that they don't have a lot of mana sources. They don't have a path to Doomsday. I kind of think we take the Thoughtseize just because, yeah, we can conceal information. If we take the Ponder, then they still have cantrips. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Thoughtseize here. As always, leave a comment with a timestamp if you think it was incorrect to do that, and I should have definitely taken Doomsday. But they had another path to Doomsday. This next land will definitely be like a Surveil effect, and I'm going to try to get a big Murktide on the table. I don't see an answer to Murktide other than Force. And I'm not sure that they're going to force my Murktide. That's fine. Okay, so 4 cards, 1 unknown, 2 unknown. This is definitely an opportunity to waste them when we know that they didn't shuffle, so they did probably find a land, but like constricting their mana is definitely good. Cavern is a terrible land for them. It doesn't do anything until they win, basically. This is uncounterable. It's also totally fine. When they brainstorm, I'm going to have both. Yeah, I'm going to have both Bowmaster and Force Up. If they have an island, that'll be scary because that'll represent Daze. Okay, they are being very disciplined about this. They don't actually have a way to... Yeah, do I force here? Because they're almost certainly going to force this. I can't imagine them letting this resolve. Maybe they do. But I can force their force, and then I can... I can't Daze because this is like they can create colorless. I mean, if I am wrong, I think we go ahead and we pitch the Daze here. And then we have Murktide as a follow-up. Okay, this seems to resolve. All right, and the card they pitched was Personal Tutor. So they have Doomsday. They still have Brainstorm in hand, so they can still, in theory, flipper. They'd have to do that during my turn. And then they have Brainstorm and 1 unknown, or 2 unknowns. Okay, so we're going to start the beatdown. It's going to be hard for them to beat me with Bowmaster out. I guess it makes sense to plow here. I'm not sure if we're doing anything. I think it's better to go ahead and put a Murktide out. It's just going to make it really hard for them to win. They also can't attack in with Tamiyo anymore. This is Daze proof. I'm trying to think of a way that they could assemble a pile that can beat this. I mean, they could definitely just keep Tamiyo back for a turn, but we can plow and attack through. Okay, we won. So, yeah, I think pitching Daze was correct there. Murktide just nailed the coffin, or the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, let's do game 3. So game 3, I mean, seeing that like they did bring in Tamiyo, it does make me kind of want to bring in the Prismatic Endings a little bit. But Brazen Borrower does deal with a flip Tamiyo too, and it's a blue card that pitches the Force. Did we see any other reason to bring in Prismatic Ending? I don't think so. I think we've got 4 good ways to deal with a flip Tamiyo, And they don't really have a lot of ways to flip Tamiyo. So I think I'm probably going to keep the deck the exact same as it was. All right, we're submitting. Same exact 70 or same exact 60 as the previous. So no play draw dynamic here at all. We just want to do our best to disrupt their very linear kind of combo deck. And I say linear because like I don't imagine they have a way to win without Doomsday. This seems incredible if we get a turn. And I think we should assume we're going to get a turn. Double Thoughtseize is very strong. We haven't seen any indication that they bring in Veil or anything like that. Hopefully they just chill and take their time and we're able to Thoughtseize them repeatedly. Brainstorm's good pickup. All right, let's see if we can get a Thoughtseize through or if they daze it. Consider, terrible card. I'm definitely taking the Force here. They have tons of mana. Is that an island? I think it's an island. Yeah, so we're not disrupting their land. Yeah, I'll take that, and they'll probably consider end step just to maintain some forward momentum. We're definitely in the market for a land so we can get a Frog out. I think Frog will help us take over the game pretty quickly. I'm worried about even Thoughtseizing a second time based on that hand. If they tap out and we know they have consider, we could take it, but that seems like really weak. Okay, there's the island. All right. So I'm going to assume they don't have a second Surveil land in their deck. Land, please. All right, I'm going to ponder for a land. Pondering for a land is a lot safer, by the way. This is a pretty good hand. We don't need a third land. So I think I'm just going to take the Strand. And I'm going to keep my options open as far as what we do next turn, but I'm almost certainly going to want to Frog. This way, if they do something end step, like we have Brainstorm that we can potentially find interaction. Yeah, we expected that. Okay, they put a Dark Ritual, which makes sense. So it's basically like they drew a free card off of that, because that Dark Ritual would have been bad when they have so much mana already. Dark Ritual. All right. Doomsday. All right, here we go. We are going to go ahead and attempt to find... I mean, this is the game, whether we find a Force here. I don't suspect they have their own Force. Do we get lucky? We get a Daze, which doesn't do anything, sadly. I think we probably lost. I don't think these plows are going to matter in the slightest. I think what we do is we probably... Next turn we Thoughtseize and we Murktide, and we hope that it's going to take them an extra turn to get through all that stuff. We'll see what their pile looks like. All right, let's count. Start with B for Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. So I think there is a Brainstorm in their pile. Let's take a look one more time. 1, 2. Oh, they're just going to go for it now. Can they win like this? It's crazy. They had like literally nothing in their hand and they're about to win. Wait, is the cavern's here? We might be able to get them with a Daze. I don't think we are. Let's see. They're cracking into their pile, going lower on life. Psychic Frog could actually get them. It's probably better than playing Murktide because they're so low in life. I'm just trying to think of what other things they have in hand that would matter. So that's one of their cycles. I don't see the other one. I think they're going to go pretty low here. The other card, so we do have a Plow. It's not available. I do want to keep it Plow mana up just in case they go for an earlier victory. They may be only playing one Oracle. I've never seen a second Oracle in either of the piles. Oh, wait, there's the Oracle. So they have a second Oracle. So yeah, I think it's quite possible that they... Oh, but LED is not in here. Lotus Petal. Did they put Consider back in? No? Okay, let's just be calm. We have plenty of time. Let's finish counting the pile. Okay, so Force 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there are 4 forces. And I'm counting Ponders. So again, we suspect they have a Brainstorm. So they may have like Brainstorm LED. That would make sense. So they're cracking 1 deep into their pile right now. I'm going to go ahead and let them proceed. Vexing Bauble. I think we Daze this, and that forces them to give us a turn. Then next turn we have both Plow and Thoughtseize up. Okay, they are paying for it. So again, small victory. It shouldn't affect what we're doing anyway. I think there's a good chance that the last card in their hand is a land, and that this Thoughtseize is just going to thud. Okay, so options. One, we could play a Psychic Frog that will win if they don't win immediately. But the fact that they put the Vexing Bauble out, they can crack the Vexing Bauble. They can play Lion's Eye Diamond. I am pretty sure that we did. They revealed their lands and that they had 2. I could rewind the video that I've been recording and see whether they actually had 2 Flooded Strands. But if they did, then that means this Flooded Strand is... Okay, I did check the video, and they did have one more card in hand that's unknown. They did use that Flooded Strand. So I'm going to start by... They can't do anything here. I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize now, and then I'm just going to hold up Plow. Okay, so they did have the Flooded Strand. That sucks. Okay, so we just took 2 damage for no reason. We threw away our path to killing them this turn. If they get impatient or jumpy, we can still kill them, but I think we probably just lost. Next turn, I can do the same thing. I can Murktide, but I think they probably will be able to empty their pile completely before they put her on the stack. They're brainstorming here. They're going to put 2 cards back. They did not LED or anything in response. So they're cracking the bauble here. So now, a Daze could be live. There's the LED. I'm going to assume that they have some way to draw here. Street Wraith paying 2. Yeah, we wouldn't have won either way. But yeah, they are going to draw the card and they're going to win. So that was disappointing. Oh, what? Draw 7 card. Okay, if you draw a card while your library cards. Yeah, we don't have interaction for this. Yeah, I didn't think about that as a potential out, but that does stop our plow line. So good game. Let's let it ultimate. I've never seen it ultimate. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that sucks. We're 2-2. I don't know that we could have done anything better there. They naturally drew Doomsday, and as the saying goes, you can't Thoughtseize the top of your opponent's deck. I feel like we kept a perfectly reasonable hand. They had all the tools to beat us, and they were turbo. And yeah, if you disagree with that, these have all been very close, by the way. We're playing every single round of Magic possible here. Hopefully we just cleanly 2-0 this last one. We'll see. See you in round 5. Round 5, we're on the play against an unknown opponent with a very flexible hand. I think this is a snap keep. I am inclined to just surveil. Keep the option of surveilling. They are mulliganing, so maybe an unfair matchup. Psychic Frog is a heck of a card if we can stick him. Daze makes it a little easier to keep him around to connect. Right. We'll see if they have something like crazy powerful. I mean, they did mulligan, so it could be scary time. They're seeing our Pluto Delta with a Delta of their own. I am going to fetch into a potential Stifle. All right, we're just going to get the Undercity Sewers. I don't think we need this. Put it in the graveyard. So the question is, do we Psychic Frog into a potential Daze? I don't think we do. I think we chill with maximum interaction up. We could go ahead and ponder. Now we have Daze and the potential plow up. These are not good cards. I think we shuffle this. We could take the plow, which may be useful. We could also just take the land. I think taking the land is fine. Just in case it gives us, another surveil trigger. I should have stacked that differently where I put the plow up just in case they play something that reveals what they're on. Because my thinking is, okay, even if they waste us here, we have plenty of options. This is probably Undercity Sewer. Hedge Maze. Okay, so I think they're probably on Nadu. Some sort of Nadu build. And I'm going to wish that I had that second plow. Okay, interesting. It could be that they're on Beanstalk. Wasteland. I don't think there's any merit to doing anything other than just letting this happen. With how they're playing so far, I do think it's good to get the Surveil. We have plenty of mana. We're looking for more stack interaction because I'm suspecting they're on beans. So I would definitely take a force here. I don't think we need another land, even though they just wasted us. Maybe I'll feel bad that I did this. Yeah. I'm just going to play out yet another Delta. I do think we can play out a Tamiyo. They've got 6 cards in hand. They're not representing white mana or black mana, so they don't have removal colors. I would love for them to force this if that's what they're thinking about doing. All right. Next turn, we have Daze Protected Frog, which seems like it'll be pretty strong. I'm definitely convinced that they're on Beanstalk now. Lorien Revealed is really just Beanstalk. They grabbed an Underground Sea. This could be any number of things, like maybe a Fatal Push. Fatal Push I can't stop, but if it's like a... well, we'll see what it is. Okay, that's great. So we have an Unknown on top. Definitely want to at least attempt to attack with this, so hopefully they give me a draw step so I can... Okay, Ponder's good. All right, I think what we do... I'm going to play the land first. I'm going to go ahead and Ponder. And now, if they Bowmasters, I can Daze. Okay, so if they're on like Force, these are all good cards. I don't want to let any of them go. However, I think Force will be the most consequential if we flip Tamiyo here, which I'm planning to do. It is good, but Bowmasters is quite good against them. It's just a question of these 2 cards. I think we take... I mean, we could just chill. I think I'm just going to chill. I'll take the Force and I'll just keep creating clues. Yeah, I'm not going to flip her. I don't want to tap out and have them be able to do something here. I mean, we do have the possibility of a big Murktide, though. They are not showing any colors that can remove her if I flip. If they have 2 mana removal, that's okay. Like, we're still getting a card out of this. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it. I mean, there's definitely an argument for just playing a frog here, but I do want to flip her. And now the question is, okay, there we go. I'm going to bounce this back to hand. I think this is more important that we have access to black. If they force here, I'll force back because they clearly care. All right, another Delta, which is not great, but I'm not going to complain about it. They probably have Brazen Borrower in their deck somewhere. Maybe not. A lot of decks, like they just... I was always teased for playing blue-black. Teased. I was bullied. Poor little old me, the 230-pound dude. Okay, so... yeah. That happens. We've got plenty of land now. I suspect they have Bowmasters in their deck somewhere. If they want to try to surprise me with it, that's fine. All right, we're drawing wild. Bowmasters, such a good card. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play this in plus. Now we have access to white if we need it. I do like the idea of keeping Plow up and Bowmasters up. Bowmasters with Force effect is pretty strong. They could have Daze. We've never given them an opportunity to Daze, have we? Actually, we did. So this is fine. I'm gonna Bowmasters in response. I think it's fine to do this now before they have access to mana. Like, I have lots of ways of dealing with it. I don't want them to have access. Like, every card they draw is a potential answer to this Bowmasters. I will force here if they force. And at this point, I think Frog is actually better. Now that I know that they are on that, I think Murktide is better because they likely have Fatal Push. This is probably not necessarily game ending, but it's extremely strong, what just happened. That's like the advantage bar is on our side of the table for sure. If they have a second Bowmasters, that's a problem. But again, I can find an answer and Plow. They're going to cast something big here. I'm trying to think of what would be really bad for us. Like Life from the Loam to get Wasteland could be bad. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to resolve a big Murktide, and I don't think they have a lot of good answers for Murktide if they're on Sultai. There's a big Murktide. How big is it? 6/6. Well, I've got news for you. I too have a Murktide, and I have a Plow. That is totally fine. That was a misplay, in my opinion. Okay, they just concede. They kind of shame concede. I think that they didn't need to concede there. I think that they still have plenty of like angles, but yeah, because we were gonna go up, but like they would have to hit it. They didn't know that I had Murktide. They never looked at my hand. Okay, so Beanstalk. I'm almost certain we're against Beanstalk. We could be up against just like straight blue-black, but like the fact that they're playing Murktide instead of Uro tells me they're likely on Beanstalk. Prismatic Ending, pretty good against them. Orcish Bowmasters, extremely good against them. Cards that are not good, Daze on the draw. That's pretty bad. I think we could probably bring in a Plains just because they do have Wastelands. They may have a way to Wastelock us. This is going to be a long game. I think I just cut a Tundra here. And I can bring in one more card, and I guess it's probably just going to be a Daze. I don't think it's beneficial. Wait, did we cut 2 lands? No, we got 20 lands. We don't want to go above 20 lands because we could get flooded. I'll keep the solo Daze in here. And then we have Frog covered. We have Beanstalk covered in several ways. And we've got the most powerful card in the matchup, which is Orcish Bowmasters. All right, this is not a great hand, but we are on the draw. They are a 3-color deck, so we may be able to exploit that. I like having the Plow as an answer. I'm going to keep this. We'll force their first Beanstalk for sure. Thoughtseize is fine. They're going to see that we're on 3 colors. Second Frog doesn't really do anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they just take Force here. But Murktide is completely dead. Like, if they leave us with Force, we will definitely use Force pitching Murktide. Okay, they did take the Force. Well, that tells me they probably have Beanstalk. And that also tells me that I should probably waste them, which I am about to do. I just want to reduce the lands that they likely have access to so that I can beat back something scary. And Beanstalk resolved is extremely scary. Like, basically, that's how they win. If you stop the Beanstalk, you stop them. This represents Surveil Land, or a Plow if they play a Frog, but I'll probably just untap and kill the Frog. This is Surveil Land, I imagine. So, yeah, I think they're going to go for Beanstalk this turn. And unfortunately, I'm just going to have to untap and end it, because, and they may be able to just force from there. It's a really bad situation, but you can't leave the Beanstalk on the table. All right, Island, Beanstalk, what did I tell you? All right, we're going to let this resolve. They have Daze, they have Force that will cantrip. They've got so many things. They're so incredibly favored from here. I am going to go ahead and fetch my Surveil Land. So we're going to get the white one. I'm glad I included the white one. It's been great this entire league. I think 2 is totally defensible, even in a tempo deck. This seems pretty good. So if we waste that land, that does increase our likelihood of getting to a 3rd land before we end. I don't think we have anything to worry about. Like, they could untap and just Murk. Could they? I don't think they could. It feels pretty bad to be wasting on the draw, though. Especially when we have so many cards that we could be casting. I think I'm going to graveyard that. All right, the real question is... so they could have... I think there is a good reason to go ahead and Thoughtseize, end here. And then next turn we'll be able to... Yeah, I'm going to try this. It's probably going to get Dazed. It might get Forced. Either one is bad for us. I think it's more important to get this off the table than for them to... yeah, they're going to do something here. Force. Yep, draw a card. We're so screwed. So screwed. Yep. And they're going to... If they have Wasteland, we're going to be tasting that Wasteland. Probably cut us off black. They might have more cards in their hand. I don't want to give their deck too much credit, but from here, this is how you lose, is they resolve a Beanstalk. We drew this Thoughtseize like 2 turns too late. Thoughtseize would have been really good. Our main hope is that we can find lands faster than they can find Wastelands. They could Murktide here, which is just GG. Their sideboard options do include Okay, that's a good card. I think I'm going to open Thoughtseize. And from there, I will see what they do. If they veil, that's terrible. If they force, that's bad, but it's not necessarily GG. Okay, they grabbed black for some reason. Here's their Bowmaster. That is okay. Let's see what their hand is. I'm not worried about Bowmaster because I don't have any draw effects. Like I'm happily going to just resolve this Murktide, but they could potentially cut it down. Okay, they do have a force. They have Murderous Cut. I mean, this is crazy, but I actually think we're best taking Murderous Cut and leaving them with force and then just Murktiding and then trying to go all the way with Murktide. Like, that may sound preposterous. Absolutely preposterous. But I think that's probably actually our best shot at winning because we only need to hit them. Let's see, it's going to be a 6/6. They do have the ability to go get a Mystic Sanctuary and put it back on top. But yes, I'm going to take the Murderous Cut here. Now I'm going to fetch. I'm going to get a second Black Source. I'm going to be fearless. They definitely could Wasteland and then Murktide, and that would be devastating. But like, I think we're losing any game in which Murktide goes on the stack anyway. My kids are in here playing with my cat. All right, let's go ahead and Murk. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to connect 3 times. And I'll exile this land. Yeah. Okay. So we know they can't interact with this, but we know they have a force. We know that they have a Fatal Push, so Psychic Frog is not good. I mean, again, if they Murk and... Oh, was that the draw for turn? What did they have previously? They reveal it? No, those are draws for turn. Okay, we're going somewhere. They can't attack this turn. I'll just attack. Ponder is not good. I could Plow and then Ponder. We know that they don't have a card to go with their force. I mean, that does ramp us toward potentially putting even more power on it. I think I'm going to do that. Because if I can find another Thoughtseize, that's really good. I'm just not going to give them any quarter here. We're going to Ponder while we can. Force, our own force, I think is good. I think that's actually what we need. This protects Murktide as Murktide gets the job done. They can fetch and put the Murderous Cut on top. They will not be able to stop my force. 2 more swings with Murktide. And I can make it... I can't make it 1 more swing. Actually, if I force... okay, they're going to put the Murderous Cut on top, but that means they are going to draw a card off Murderous Cut, so they could potentially draw a blue card. We're just going to have to hope they don't. We are definitely going to force this, though. And that was their only Mystic Sanctuary, most likely. So it all comes down to whether they... I'm going to definitely push here before the card draw. I'm going to force that. Okay, now they get a card draw. They could find the other Murderous Cut. They don't actually have a Black Source right now, but that doesn't mean that they won't win. Oh, I can win next turn. I can win next turn, assuming they are not able to stop my frog. I can exile cards and swing for lethal. Okay, let's see if we can pull this off. All right, so they have 1 unknown, 1 force, 1 fatal push. They may not actually counter this. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. If this resolves, I think we win. Exile 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Wow, I did not expect that to work. Do they have a Brazen Borrower? If they have Brazen Borrower, that's it. We did it. Wow, I saw the line. Winning through Beanstalk. Exact 0 damage. That was a great league. Losing to Doomsday felt bad, but it also felt like I didn't see anything that I really could have done. They were just the Turbo Doomsday, and they naturally ripped the Doomsday. I do think that the loss... What was the other loss? I think it was to some other combo deck. Did I lose to a fair deck? Let's take a look. So we go over here, and here's the deck list again. I will review the games, but that is a positive record. I 4-1 yesterday, and then I 2-3 earlier today, which is not impressive by any means. Just hit some tough matchups, maybe made some misplays. But I'm just loving this deck. I do think that Brazen Borrower is better than Kaito. But I definitely liked having the second Surveillant. I know it's weird to be playing 4 Dazes and playing 2 Surveillants because this is a tempo deck, right? The only reason we're playing Daze is because of the degenerate decks. And when I say degenerate, that's not a diss to them or anything, but I think you have to kind of admit that Karnforge and Epic Gamble. I think was it Epic Gamble we lost to? We lost to something like that. I think that those kinds of decks are just Riddlesmith. I think that was what we lost to. That might have been the previous league, but I think you just have to have Daze. And you have to have Wasteland. I don't consider this to be a tempo deck. I consider this to be a control deck. I'd love to be able to go back to just not playing Wasteland in my control deck so I can just play a bunch of lands and then start jamming giant planeswalkers, right? And Narset and Teferi and maybe even Jace, but I genuinely don't think that you can play those types of control decks anymore. I just don't think they win consistently. My opponent's deck, they had the initiative basically in terms of having the I'm talking about the final round. They had the Beanstalk on the table. They had the removal, the 5-mana removal in hand. They could have drawn a lot of cards. They could have interacted in a lot of ways, and we were able to mongoose them thanks to cards like Thoughtseize. Thanks to Murktide dodging a lot of the removal in the format. And so I think that this is a control deck, and even though it was classified as Esper Tempo. I think that's actually what I named it when I signed up for the weekend. I do believe that this is more of a control deck because you're basically just trying to check boxes and eventually close the game with Murktide. I don't think that we're trying to just rush off across the finish line. It can happen sometimes with Psychic Frog or a turbo flipped Tamiyo, but I think in general, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to get their hand empty, especially in the case of Eldrazi and stuff like that. Get their hand empty and then just win through whatever means possible, which is usually Murktide. So that is where I'll leave it. I love this deck. Be sure to check out the sideboard guide. I'm going to update the sideboard guide a little bit to reflect the fact that we have 4 consigned to memory. It'll probably just take a few minutes to update it, but I genuinely think that you should be playing 4 consigned to memory. I think that Containment Priest is cute when people are turn 2 reanimating an Atraxa. I think you really need to have Grafdigger's Cage, and I recommend 3 of them and a Surgical Extraction just as a different angle. This comes in matchups where you wouldn't necessarily bring in Grafdigger's Cage. So I think that everything about this deck feels good to me. I don't really have any edits that I would make. I'm very happy with how the second Surveillant has felt, and we'll see how it feels over more games. But I feel like this is getting into kind of a semi-finished state and being fairly well tuned for the meta. Again, at Eternal Weekend, I went 7-4 with losses to Painter, which is the Nightmare matchup. 1 Karnforge match, I won 2 of them, but I did lose to a Karnforge player who basically turn 3'd me. And turn 3'd me through protection and everything. It was just an incredibly strong opening. And then my other losses were I lost to Blue Black Reanimator the one time I faced it, just because I just got incredibly mana flooded. I drew 5 or 6 lands in a row, and there was just nothing I could do. And the Frog Plan got me, even though I locked things down with Grafdigger's Cage. And then my final loss was to, I can't remember, Beanstalk. I actually lost to Beanstalk, a really good player. Shout out to, I think his name was George. It was either George or Max. It was not the same Max as the guy that I had, obviously, because he was on breakfast. But yeah, super chill dude. And kudos to him for going so far with Beanstalk. But I just don't think Beanstalk is where you want to be against Eldrazi and stuff like that. It feels terrible against Eldrazi. Against Eldrazi, you want the games to go like they did in my rounds with Eldrazi, with you wasting them, buying time to win with a Murktide, and essentially stopping them from K commanding too many times and removing their, if you can't remove their chalice, at least emptying your hand of cards so that it's minimally impactful. Yeah, man, it's a long league. I hope you're having fun. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.